It's tragic however you look at it. Whether he's found guilty or innocent, you're still going through it. The reality was I hadn't spoken to Mr. Cosby, and I felt it would be kind of tactless. Felicia Rashad just dropped a bombshell at 77. The woman who once embodied the perfect mom on The Cosby Show has broken her silence, and what she revealed shook everyone to the core. After nearly 40 years of whispers and shadows, she's now peeling back the curtain on a story that was buried under fame, fear, and power. Rashad didn't just hint, she flat out exposed the hidden world behind the polished sitcom smiles. She spoke about manipulation, control, and a culture of silence that didn't come from loyalty but from raw fear. For the first time ever, someone from the inside confirmed what so many suspected but dared not say, that the empire built around Bill Cosby wasn't as unshakable as it looked. At a private arts event in Houston, surrounded by women openly weeping as they recounted being drugged and assaulted by Cosby, Rashad admitted she had seen disturbing behavior herself. Never anything explicitly inappropriate, she said, but she recalled moments that haunted her. Between 1985 and 1989, on at least 3 occasions, she personally witnessed Cosby slipping away with young women who weren't connected to the production, and every time, the set stayed silent. Nobody dared to step in or even ask questions. Rashad admitted she too ignored it, convincing herself it was personal business. Deep down, she knew confronting him was dangerous. At the height of the show's fame, Cosby wasn't just a star, he was untouchable. He ruled the scripts, controlled the cast, and even influenced the network's decisions. Nobody wanted to risk it all by crossing him. And so, the silence lasted until now. Felicia Rashad revealed that any time she or others hinted at concern, it was brushed off as unprofessional. They were told to just focus on the job. That's exactly what she did for 8 long years. Still, whispers backstage were constant, though treated as gossip and quickly buried. When the Cosby allegations exploded years later, Rashad said her mind replayed everything she had seen and ignored. Suddenly, situations she once brushed off as harmless no longer looked harmless at all. She confessed what she saw wasn't normal. And while she stopped short of calling it illegal, she couldn't escape the guilt of her silence, a silence she now believes made her part of the problem. Her confession isn't just about Cosby's alleged actions, it's about the decades she stayed quiet. She admitted she made a mistake by choosing silence over truth, explaining that in those days, actresses had little room to question powerful men without risking everything. Cosby wasn't just a co-star, he was the kingpin of the entire empire, admired and untouchable across Hollywood. "We put so much trust in one person," Rashad admitted, "and now I feel like I'm paying the price for that trust." Even as she tore open old wounds, she added another twist. At a recent arts education conference, she argued that The Cosby Show still carries cultural value, but the silence and truths it covered up have poisoned the legacy forever. She clarified that her decision to speak now isn't about destroying the show's legacy, but about giving truth to those who've lived too long in the shadows. Rashad explained that the reason she stayed quiet so long was self-doubt. She wondered if her instincts were enough to challenge an empire. But when dozens of women came forward with similar stories, she realized she wasn't alone. Though she once appeared to defend Cosby, Rashad now insists the media twisted her words. "That was a misquote, and that is not what I said," she declared. After decades of work in theatre and education, she said she now understands more than ever the responsibility that comes with truth. She admitted past choices can't be erased, but taking responsibility now can help future generations see the industry with sharper eyes. "I lived in the dark for too long," she confessed. Now her words sound like a confession wrapped in regret. Her statement doesn't involve lawsuits or accusations against other cast members, but the shock is undeniable. For the first time, a core star from the show publicly acknowledged that red flags existed. While her revelations don't change legal rulings, they rip open a new chapter in the show's history, one where silence is no longer an option. The Cosby dream wasn't just about Bill Cosby, it was also the machine that launched Felicia Rashad into living room royalty. Before the sitcom, she was respected on Broadway, but it was Claire Huxtable that made her a household name across America. Overnight, she became the face of elegance, intelligence, and strength on primetime TV. Critics hailed her role as groundbreaking, portraying a successful, confident black woman rarely seen on television at the time. Rashad admitted the chemistry between her and Cosby came from mutual respect. On set, he wasn't just the star, he positioned himself as a mentor, shaping the emotional rhythm of the show. Every laugh, pause, and heartfelt moment ran through him. That made the show powerful, but it left little room for others' voices. Some younger actors confessed they were nervous performing in front of him. At the time, Rashad saw it as professionalism, but in hindsight, she realizes the environment wasn't always healthy. Still, The Cosby Show broke barriers. For the first time, America saw a middle-class black family on primetime television, not as stereotypes, but as educated, successful, and fully human. It became a cultural revolution. Rashad's performance earned awards, nominations, and respect across the industry, but with fame came chains. When you become a role model, people don't allow you to make mistakes, she reflected. The pressure to maintain perfection became suffocating. Her upbringing played a role too. Raised in a disciplined household in Houston, Texas, Rashad was taught to remain composed and suppress emotions. Silence and dignity were the rules. That training carried into her career, shaping her instinct to stay quiet, even when facing troubling situations. Eventually, Rashad reinvented herself. She moved away from the sitcom image and into education and theatre directing. She returned to Howard University, mentoring young artists and later becoming head of the arts department. Directing plays like Purpose and Immediate Family, she embraced themes of truth, secrecy, and family legacies, art that reflected her own life. Offstage, she urged students not to let fame cloud their instincts, telling them to trust their gut when something feels wrong. For Rashad, this wasn't image repair, it was survival. She explained, "I was a part of something important, but I can't let one role define me." Now she continues teaching, directing, and working in her community. Truth, confrontation, and transparency have become her core values. "I know people still remember Claire Huxtable," she said, "and I appreciate that. But I want them to know I am a real person, not a character." Felicia Rashad isn't living in the past. She's building something real. She refuses to sit in endless retrospectives about The Cosby Show. Instead, she focuses on honesty, discipline, and courage, the values she believes will define her true legacy.